Virgo, stop scrolling right now. I mean it. Put the phone down flat, pick it back up, and give me your complete and undivided attention for the next few minutes. Because what just came through in your energy, what just landed in this reading with a clarity and a force that I was not prepared for, is going to make you laugh, cry, and then sit in the most beautiful, stunned silence of your life. Something is shifting in your financial reality, not gradually, not eventually, not in the slow, incremental, barely perceptible way that change usually moves. In the way that a door you've been pushing against for a very long time suddenly swings open so fast you almost fall through it. And what's on the other side of that door, Virgo? What the universe has been arranging while you were busy grinding, hustling, holding everything together with both hands and sheer willpower is a life that looks nothing like the one you've been living. A life with more ease in it, more pleasure, more mornings where you wake up and the first thing you feel is not dread or obligation or the weight of everything you have to do, but something quieter and warmer and more expansive than that. The soft life is not just a concept for someone else, Virgo, it's a destination, and you are closer to it than you have ever been. Before we go any deeper, if this is already landing somewhere real in your chest, if you know in your soul that you clicked on this video for a reason, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and drop the word soft life in the comments right now, because this is you telling the universe, I'm ready, I'm done grinding myself into the ground. I'm ready to receive what I've actually earned. Let's get into what the cards are showing me, because every single one of them is pointing in the same direction, and that direction is abundance. The first thing that came through, and I felt it before I even turned the card over, that's how strong this energy is the image of arrival. Complete, total, unambiguous arrival, not progress towards something, not movement in the right direction, arrival, the destination reached. The thing you've been working toward for longer than you want to admit, finally within your grasp in a way that is real and tangible and no longer theoretical. And what I'm seeing specifically around your financial world right now is something that is going to fundamentally change your relationship with money. Not just add to what you have, change the relationship itself. The anxiety that has been your background noise for so long that you stop noticing it's there. The constant low level calculation, the checking and rechecking, the mental math that runs in the background of every decision you make, that is what's ending. And it's ending not because you've found some new way to manage scarcity better, but because the scarcity itself is leaving. Something is coming in, something significant, and it's coming from a direction you may not be looking. For many of you watching this, the source of what's coming is connected to something you built, something you created, something you put your specific Virgo energy into, that meticulous, detail-oriented, quietly brilliant energy that you've been pouring into a project or a skill or a body of work, sometimes with very little visible return, sometimes wondering if any of it was actually adding up to anything. It was adding up. Every single bit of it was adding up. And the accounting is about to become visible to you in a way that is going to take your breath away. For others of you, what's coming is connected to a recognition. Someone in a position to make a real difference in your financial life is paying attention to you, has been paying attention to you. and they are about to make a move that brings resources, opportunity, or both directly into your world in a way you didn't engineer and didn't see coming. For others, still, and this one is specific and I want to name it clearly, what's coming is a release, money, energy, or opportunity that has been held up somewhere, stuck in a process, delayed by circumstance, caught in a situation that kept it from reaching you even though it was technically already yours. That thing that's been held up is about to release. The blockage is clearing. And what flows through when it does is going to feel like a dam breaking. The second thing that came through, and this is the part that tells me why the title of this reading says what it says, is the energy of rest. Real rest. Not the exhausted collapse at the end of a day when you've given everything you had and there's nothing left. Not the guilty, anxious rest where you're lying down but your mind is still running at full speed, cataloging everything you should be doing. Genuine, deep, restorative, completely guilt-free rest. And what I'm seeing is that this rest is coming not as a forced pause, not illness, not burnout, not the universe knocking you flat because you refuse to slow down voluntarily, but as a natural consequence of the shift that's happening in your material circumstances. When the pressure lifts, when the financial anxiety that has been driving you quiets, when you stop running because you have to and start moving because you want to, rest becomes possible in a way it hasn't been for a very long time. Virgo, I want to say something directly to you about this because I think it's important. You have a complicated relationship with rest. You always have. There's a part of you that equates your value with your productivity, that measures your worth in what you've accomplished, what you've produced, how useful you've been to the people around you. And that part of you has been driving you harder than any external force ever could, because the internal critic, the internal taskmaster, the internal voice that says you haven't done enough yet, you don't get to stop yet, there's still more to be done. That voice has no off switch. The soft life is going to require you to develop one, not by force of will, you've already proven you have more than enough of that, but by genuinely internalizing a truth that these cards are screaming at me right now. Your value is not a function of your output. You were worth receiving ease and abundance and pleasure and rest before you earned a single thing. You are worth it now. And the shift that's coming is going to give you the opportunity to finally actually live as though you believe that. The question that's sitting underneath all of this, the one that Spirit is asking me to put directly to you, is whether you'll let yourself, whether when the ease arrives, you'll receive it fully, or whether some part of you will immediately start searching for the catch, working to justify it, filling the space it creates with new obligations before you've had a moment to simply be in it. Let yourself be in it, Virgo. The third thing that came through is about your identity, about who you are when you are no longer defined by what you're working toward. Because so much of how you understand yourself, so much of the story you tell about who Virgo is built around the striving, the working, the improving, the building, the relentless forward motion toward a better version of your circumstances. And I'm seeing something in the energy around you right now that is both beautiful and slightly disorienting, and I want to prepare you for it. When the thing you've been striving toward arrives, you are going to have to figure out who you are without the striving. That sounds like a small thing. It is not a small thing. There is a version of you on the other side of this financial shift who has never existed before, who wakes up in the morning without the familiar weight of financial pressure to organize her day around, who makes decisions about time, about energy, about who to spend it with and how, from a place of genuine choice rather than necessity, who is finally in a position to ask, not what do I have to do today, but what do I actually want to do today? That version of you is so close right now that I can feel her in the energy of this reading. She is right there, right on the other side of what's coming, and she is freer than you have allowed yourself to imagine. What I want you to do right now, before the shift arrives, before the door swings open and you have to move through it, is give yourself permission to imagine her, not in a wishful, desperate, this will never actually happen way, in a grounded, real, this is where I'm going way. Let yourself feel what her mornings feel like. Let yourself feel the specific quality of ease that lives in her chest where the anxiety used to be. Let yourself get familiar with her so that when you meet her, and you are going to meet her, Virgo, and it's happening sooner than you think, you recognize her as yourself and not as someone you're not allowed to be. The fourth thing that came through, and this is the one that made me put the cards down for a second and just sit with what I was feeling, is about what the soft life actually means for you specifically. Because the soft life is not a generic concept, it doesn't look the same for everyone. And what I'm seeing when I tune into your specific energy, your specific desires, your specific version of ease and abundance and pleasure. It is so particular and so beautiful that I want to describe it as clearly as I can. I see time, your own time returned to you, hours in the day that belong to no one but you, the luxury of moving slowly through a morning, the pleasure of doing something purely because it brings you joy, with no calculation attached to it, no productivity metric, no justification required. I see beauty, your environment shifting to reflect the taste and the aesthetic sensibility that has always lived inside you, but has sometimes had to wait at the edges of your life while practicality took the center. The specific pleasure of being surrounded by things that feel genuinely right, that match who you are on the inside instead of who you've had to be while you were building toward where you're going. I see relationships shifting in quality. When financial pressure lifts, when survival stops being the organizing principle of your days, the people in your life get to know a version of you they haven't fully met yet. The Virgo who isn't stretched thin, the Virgo who isn't carrying so much that she has nothing left to give by the time she reaches the people she loves. The Virgo who shows up with her full self instead of what's left after everything else has taken its share. I see confidence, the deep, quiet, unshakable kind that doesn't come from achievement or external validation, but from the lived experience of having built something real and watched it arrive. The confidence of someone who knows now, from personal evidence rather than faith alone, that what she works toward actually materializes, that she is someone whose efforts produce results, that she is, in the most literal and undeniable sense, someone whose life works. That confidence, once you have, it changes everything. It changes how you walk into rooms, how you speak about yourself and your work, how you receive opportunity, and how you create it, how you relate to people who once seemed out of reach or above the level you were operating at. The soft life isn't just about money, Virgo. It's about who you become when money stops being the problem. The fifth and final thing that came through the card that sealed this entire reading and made everything else cohere into a single clear message came in with an energy I can only describe as complete. What I saw was wholeness, integration, the sense of a circle closing, not with loss, but with the satisfaction of something that was always supposed to come together, finally coming together. A cycle completing itself in the most graceful way possible, not with drama or struggle or one final push, simply with the quiet inevitability of something that was always going to happen arriving exactly when it was supposed to. And what Spirit is saying through that final image is this: the soft life is not a reward. It is not something you're receiving because you worked hard enough or suffered enough or proved yourself worthy through enough difficulty. It is not compensation. It is not charity. It is not luck. It is alignment. It is what happens when who you are on the inside and what you experience on the outside finally match each other. When your external circumstances stop contradicting your internal worth. When the life you're living starts reflecting the person you actually are rather than the limitations you've been working within. You were always meant for more ease than you've had, Virgo. That's not a comfortable thing to say because it implies that the difficulty was not inevitable, not necessary, not the only possible path. But it's true. And the universe is in the process right now, actively, specifically, with your name attached to it, of correcting the discrepancy. The soft life is not coming for you someday. It is assembling itself right now. It is being built from the materials of everything you've done and everything you've been and everything you've held on to through every moment when holding on was genuinely hard. It is approaching with the particular momentum of something that has been a long time coming and can no longer be delayed. Your job, the only job you have left in this particular journey, is to stay open. To resist the Virgo impulse to immediately find the flaw in the good news, to locate the catch in the blessing, to decide that this level of abundance must not be meant for someone like you. It is meant for someone exactly like you. It has always been meant for someone exactly like you. So receive it, Virgo, fully, without apology, without qualification. Welcome to the soft life. You have absolutely, completely, without any question, earned your place in it. Come back and tell me in the comments when it starts arriving. Tell me what the first sign was. Tell me what shifted and what it felt like when you felt it shift. Tell me that you let yourself receive it without immediately trying to justify deserving it. Because those comments, your stories, your confirmations, your moments of recognizing that what I described is exactly what happened, that is what keeps me here doing this work. You've been grinding long enough, Virgo. It's time to receive. Subscribe to stay in the energy, and I'll see you in the next one.